Alrighty. Hi, welcome back, Michaela. It's so good to see you again. I know we just met briefly when you came in to fill out some of the intake forms and everything, but I just want to take care of some basic housekeeping stuff and then we'll get to the session. Does that sound good?
It sounds okay.
Alright, perfect. So I know when you came in, you received the confidentiality form, and we kind of discussed on, where the boundaries draw on that. Do you have any questions about that? Need any clarification?
I don't think so.
Awesome. Okay, and then just so you know, I'm going to probably be writing down some notes. My memory isn't the best, so
Okay, no problem.
I mean, if it makes you uncomfortable, let me know. You're more than welcome to read them at the end. So, and I did have a chance to read your intake form. Thank you so much. You are very thorough, which does help me out a lot, so we don't have to start from square one.
Good.
But I just want to make sure that I have everything correct. All right, so I see that you have 2 children, Lucia, and she's 4, and Thomas, who's 2, as well as you do have a husband, Joshua.
Yes.
And he was deployed 3 months ago to Afghanistan.
You got it.
So now you're kind of on your own in the parenting aspect. So that's all correct?
Yes, you got it.
Perfect. And that only paints a little bit of a picture of you. So now I want to hear in your own words kind of what motivated you to come in.
Okay. Well, my husband was just deployed, but before his deployment, we were stationed here in Columbia, South Carolina.
Okay.
And I'm not from here, so I don't really know anybody. And it's just been a really difficult transition because this has been his first deployment.
Okay.
And we have 2 children, and it has been just extremely stressful for me. And honestly, I've just been feeling really depressed since he left because I feel like I'm a single parent in a city that I know nothing about, and I don't really have anybody to support me through this really tough time. So
Sure, I can only imagine, I've never gone through it personally, but, it seems like everything you're feeling is kind of par for the course. It's gonna happen, unfortunately, but hopefully we can kind of give you some strategies so you're not feeling so stressed out. So along those lines, can you tell me some goals maybe you have for our time together?
yeah, I think I'd like to figure out maybe some networks where I can
Sure.
connect with some people here in the
Sure.
city because, we are new to the area, and I would really like to, I guess, talk with other people that are going through something similar that I am. And I'd really like to learn some stress management techniques because I do feel like the way I'm feeling right now is getting in the way of me being a parent, and I just want to be the best parent that I can be.
And I just want to really commend you for saying something like that. With all of this going on around you, I'm sure you feel like you have very little me time for yourself, but yet you do want to be the best parent that you can be, and I think that's just awesome. So I do want you to know that. I think that that's just fantastic.
Thank you.
So we can definitely work on those things. Obviously, I'm sure you understand it's not going to happen within the first 1 or 2 sessions, but I think together I know you have it within you to make these things possible, so I think we'll be able to do that.
That's great.
So just kind of give me, a broader picture of who you are. What's your home like?
Well, it's just me and the 2 kids. My parents are in Illinois, and I'm here in South Carolina, so I don't really have much of a network. I do talk to my mom on a regular basis. I know that's kind of off subject, but my home life, a typical day, I guess, would be I would pick up the kids from daycare. Well, my daughter goes to pre-K, and then I have my son in daycare just for half of the day.
Okay.
So that I actually can have time to,
Great.
go grocery shopping and clean the house, but that's just 4 hours. It's not a lot of time. And then, usually when Lucia would get home from school, I try to work with her on some things, and I'll usually put some cartoons on for the kids and try to get dinner fixed, and then usually around 7, I'll give the kids a bath after we've had dinner, and then I put them to bed at 8, and it just seems like rinse and repeat. It's literally just the same routine. And then our weekends, because we don't know anybody, we've kind of been staying close to home, but you know, I'd love to figure out what's going on in the city so I can actually take my kids and do some stuff with them, because, you know, I feel like we all need to get out of the house, but
Oh, yes.
it's just been really hard because me being so depressed, I just some days feel like I don't have the energy to do much with them.
Mm-hmm. And along that lines, I'm sure your day seems, you know, it's a lot going on, and it's a lot of your children constantly demanding your attention. So are you feeling like when you wake up, do you feel refreshed from sleep, or is it, you know, are you still having to get up in the middle of the night to help the children? Or
I don't think I've slept a full night since before my first child was born. So no, I don't. And you know, my husband was around. We used to take turns getting up and checking on the kids, and our son Thomas does still sleep in our room. He does have his own cot, you know, like a little porta crib that he sleeps in, but he's not done very well sleeping on his own, so that has been a struggle, and it's very, very tiring. I just feel tired all the time.
No, I can imagine, because he's probably screaming around at night, and you probably hear every little thing. You got the mother's ears that just can't shut off.
That's right. He's restless, so.
Okay. Do you think there'd be any chance of him, you know, moving to another room, or the way your house set up, is that not possible?
We'd like to move in that direction. It's just, it would be so much easier to try to work with these things with him if I had my spouse around, because, you know, it's nice to have a support system. I have a really hard time dealing with the screaming and the crying, and when we move him from his bed, that's what we get. And so that's been very challenging. I'm kind of at a dead end until he gets back, and we don't know yet when he will get back. So.
Okay. So, Thomas, has he tried sleeping? Have you tried putting him in another room and it didn't work out, or you haven't crossed that bridge yet?
We have tried, but just right now it's just not going very well, and so.
Yeah, okay. Understandable, but I can imagine if he's, you know, squirming around as to why you're not getting a full night's sleep, and probably doesn't help then the next day.
Yeah.
So, Emily, I know Joshua's away, but how is your relationship? Are you able to talk to him a lot?
So, this has, I think, continuously been a struggle through our relationship. He's not a very good telephone communicator, and right now that's really the only way we can communicate is the occasional phone call, and it's usually very brief, and we don't get to talk a lot about what's going on. I mean, because where he's at, it's just a very dangerous place. He just hasn't been able to get in touch. So, you know, I would say our relationship is probably pretty strained right now, because I don't ever get to talk to him, and, you know, when we do talk, I guess I have found that I've been just so overwhelmed and upset about him being away and me being so stressed out that I don't feel like our conversations have been very positive.
Yeah, and so you said they're pretty short and brief. How many minutes on average do you think they would last?
Well, I think the longest conversation we've had has been about 30 minutes.
Okay.
And he does try to write, you know, and he'll write sweet things for the kids, and I'll try to write him back, but it just doesn't happen that often where we get to hear from him and he hears from us. So I'd say on average probably like 15 minutes is the length of time we get to talk, and, you know, it's just, to me, it doesn't seem like enough to live off of.
Yeah. And is it about once a week, every other week, or is it because he just got there kind of up in the air?
In the beginning, we didn't hear from him, so for the first month he was there, we heard from him once. Now it's getting a little more frequent. We will hear from him like once a week. I think 2 weeks ago he did call twice. So it is some here and there.
Right. And do you think there's any indication from him? He might not know that, you know, as kind of as time goes on, it'll become more regular? Or do you think it's still always going to be touch and go?
I guess it's hard to say because we've never experienced this before. So I don't know. I hope that it will become more regular, but I think we haven't really discussed like if things will change the frequency of our conversations. So I'm not sure, but I don't know if he's sure either. Maybe that's something I should ask him next time we talk, is if he knows when and if things will be more regular between us.
Sure, I did. Yeah, I think that would be great. And you know, if next time we meet, if you want to relay that on to me, and we can kind of go from there, because I'm not sure how it works, but maybe you know, in the next coming months, as he kind of gets into the swing of things with his duty, you know, then they'll have more carved out time. So maybe that's something he can work on. So hopefully we can work on the communication there. Now, aside from that, how is your relationship with your children? Have you noticed it's strained at all?
Well, I love my kids with all my heart. I mean, they really, truly are my life, and especially now that my husband's gone, they have become the absolute center of my life. And I think that we get along great. I mean, I know my kids love me, but like I said, I've just felt lately like I've been so overwhelmed that I don't always feel like I get to be the most engaged and happy parent. Like sometimes I kind of just, you know, when I'm not busy, consumed by their what they're up to, what they're doing in the house, and keeping an eye on them, I kind of feel like I just need a mental break from them. So sometimes I'll just sit in a corner and surf the internet while they play, and I just don't feel like I'm as engaged as I should be with them right now. And you know, I have found too that I've been getting just more easily frustrated with them. So I don't feel right now like I'm the best mom that I could be, because I'm just feeling so upset and frustrated.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that the children can sense that? Do you think they're stressed out too? Are they too young, do you think, to process?
Well, Lucia is old enough where she does realize her dad's not here every day. So I know for Lucia it has been kind of hard. For Thomas, I think he's still too young to understand. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I guess they sense my stress. I don't know. Maybe it's awful that I haven't been paying attention to those cues as much, because, you know, to me they seem like it's normal and fine as they could be, but maybe there's something I'm missing and I'm not looking out for with my kids, because I'm just, like I said, I don't feel as engaged as I should be right now.
Right, and I think it's important for you to remember, I think it's so great that you want to be as engaged, and I think everybody should strive for that. But you have a lot on your plate right now, so I think hopefully as our sessions go on, we can work together to realize, you know, finding some time for you, I think, is going to be very important. So that way, you know, when you see your kids after they've been gone, you feel refreshed, you feel ready to be there for them, as well as, and then when you talk to your husband, hopefully we can work on figuring out, you know, maybe a regular schedule, and that way, you know, you can kind of, you're not so stressed out on the phone, so you can feel, you know, more meaningful conversations, hopefully. Sure. Do you think with regards to communicating with your husband that you'd be able to do a Skype or anything like that so you could see him, or is that not really possible right now?
Well, right now we don't really have like that capability. We don't have a webcam on our computer. Okay. It's kind of an older model, so I am not set up to do Skype, but you know, I think if I could budget for it, it would be nice too. It's just money has been super tight because, you know, being on the military income and what little we have, I've been trying to spend a little bit extra to get those 4 hours a day of daycare for Thomas. So
Sure.
Money is really tight with one income right now because I'm not working. So
right, and that would just probably add some more stress that
sure.
you don't really
but
need
I would
right now.
I do like the idea of Skype. I would really like to see him. So
right.
You know, maybe it's something I can ask him next time we talk, if there's any way that we can get a hold of a webcam or.
Sure, and I'm glad that you expressed interest, because you did say you were new to the area, so I know you're not familiar with a lot of networking, but I know there is a group that works with mothers who have a husband deployed, and they do provide webcams at no cost. They do all sorts of fundraising because, you know, we found that it's seeing the person that really helps. So I could definitely at the end give you their information.
Please, that would be
And
amazing.
I think that they would help out a lot if you want to look at going to the meetings, because I think you'll find a lot of women are in your same shoes, and you know, maybe one of your neighbors is there and you don't even know. As well as they do provide childcare there. So I think their meetings are Monday or Wednesday. They offer two, depending on evenings at 5 p.m. So sometimes they do dinner and stuff there. So I'll definitely give you the information.
That'd be amazing.
And I think they would kind of help. You know, they provide more knowledge than I do. I don't have too much personally about the military, so they've kind of been in your shoes. So hopefully that would help out. So I'll definitely give you that. And in other terms, besides something like a group, what other support system or social connections do you have for yourself?
Well, the kids and I are still looking. There's so many to choose from, but we would like to find a church in the area, and that was something that we really liked back at our home. They had a kids service, and then for the adults, you know, sometimes they would offer like a Bible study or just, you know, and they would provide childcare for that too. But I haven't found a church yet, so it's something that I'd like to do. Maybe I could put that on my list of goals, to find a church.
Sure, I can, if you'd be comfortable, I can also, before we meet next time, I can look at some, you know, we have all sorts of resources through this office, so maybe I can give you some suggestions of churches in the area, especially with a focus on children, because I know that's something very important for you. And you did mention earlier that you're really interested to kind of figure out what's going on in the city, because it is, you know, it's a hustle and bustle. There's a lot of activity. Now, would you be interested in learning more about like the local park district? Maybe they would be able to set you guys up with some programs. You could find some, you know, activities for the kids to go to.
That would be great, because summer vacation is coming up soon, and I would really like to get them involved in something and where it can still give me some time for myself. Because when pre-K ends, I'm not sure that I'll still be able to afford to send both of them to daycare, so it would be nice to have something.
Yes, and they offer lots of programs all throughout the town, so I'm sure you could find something close, and that would, you know, give you a little bit of break. So we can definitely give you, I can get you in touch with them and their website and everything.
That would be great.
Okay, so I think we're kind of coming towards an end, but don't want to let you go quite yet. So I was thinking, before we meet 2 weeks from now at the same time, if that's still okay.
Yes.
If anything changes, feel free to call. We just ask for 24 hours in advance, but obviously we're understanding. So I just kind of want to make sure, you know, we did discuss a lot, and we'll work on, you know, kind of diving more into everything as the sessions go on. But this is kind of just a initial thing. But it seems like a lot of time, you know, I can sense that you're very stressed and overwhelmed, which is completely normal. And I want to make sure you don't lose yourself in the process of everything that's going on. So I was thinking, if you could think of 3 to 5 things that you really enjoy doing, maybe you don't do them anymore, and that you think you would be able to do, realistically continue to do. And hopefully maybe, you know, if that's working out, or, you know, you have anything, and maybe we can work on building that in.
So a list of 5 things.
As many as you, 3 to 5 if it's too many.
Okay, of things I could do to kind of get myself back to doing things I enjoy.
Right. Okay. And I mean, they can be as simple as, I love watching this TV show. Just so we can kind of work on, we can look and see and kind of schedule, so that way, you know, you're still having time for yourself.
That's amazing. And schedules are a necessity for our family, so it would be great to have some scheduled time for myself.
Sure, anything that will help. You know, it's as a mom too, it's like everything is pulling your direction, and you just gotta kind of hone in and like write it down and be like, I will do this today. Yes. So I think that will really help. Do you have any other questions for me? Any concerns?
I can just say I feel a lot better.
Good.
I do.
And you know, I think, you're a very strong person. You know, it took a lot to come in here, and you know, it's obvious you just want what's best for your family, and I think as time comes, you know, that'll happen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.